So today I'm gonna show you how to make an onboarding automation using mail.com. Here is the outline of the automation. We're gonna start by sending a trigger, which is pretty much when somebody signs a contract. We're gonna send them an email with a teleform and a video greeting them. Then we're gonna create a Google Doc folder, Google Sheet and everything. And we're gonna add them to a Slack channel, add them to a project management software, log them as a client somewhere, and then that's pretty much it. And in case that they didn't fill in the form on time, because sometimes that happens, we're gonna send them a reminder, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. So that's the onboarding form that I made for a client. It's pretty simple. They just need to put their video here, need to fill their email, all the information that the client requires, and they just need to click submit. Okay, so let's start making it. I'm just gonna use a trigger set variables, set multiple variables. Usually you're gonna need to use something like DocuSign, but I'm not going to do it right now because I usually don't use it. Let's set some variables. Let's say we're gonna need their name, their email. Okay. By the way, don't forget to save every time you make some changes, otherwise you're gonna refresh the page and it's gonna disappear. Anyway, let's run the module. As you can see, we got all the variables that we set. So next is Gmail. Send an email. I'm already connected, but you need to connect before you actually send it. Let's say we put the email here. Okay, so that's the email that's gonna be sent. And then a crucial part is to actually add them to Google Sheets. This is important because we're going to need it for the reminder. Okay, so as you can see, I created an onboarding sheet with name, company, email address, document signed, date signed, reminder sent, and submitted. And this is pretty much reflected here. I changed the variables I use the variables from the first step here, and I added a now variable. So you can pretty much add it by clicking on it and searching now here, and just click on it. It's also important to set the document signed to yes, reminder to no, and submitted to no. Okay, we are done with the first part. Let's just test it. I actually need to add an email to send it to. This email is not real, so I'm just gonna add my real one. Okay. And let's check the sheet. Okay, it seems alright. Let's check the email. And as you can see, I received an email, but apparently I made a small mistake. It should have been the name of the email. Let's check it again. Oh yeah, so here I should have used the name instead of the email. Let's run it again. Okay, so far so good. Let's go to the second part, which is the reminder. So this was one of the trickiest parts to figure out actually. We're gonna start with Google Sheets. Well, we're gonna configure it in the right way to redirect to this sheet. We have headers. And the trickiest part here was to figure out that this one pretty much is the date signed column, which is this one. It should be earlier than a day now -1 pretty much. If they're more than 24 hours after this date, then it's gonna continue. We also need to add submitted to be equal to no and reminder it to be equal to no, which pretty much means that nobody has submitted the form and they didn't receive a reminder yet. After that, you're gonna add the Google send email. So the second part is sending the email. We're just going to use the value that we get from the spreadsheet, which is this one, to fill it in here for the subject name, email address, and the content if you actually need it. But this one is pretty simple. And then we're gonna update the row. This one is pretty straightforward. We're gonna just add the row number from the first note. And then we're gonna add a reminder, send to yes, now the time pretty much. Also, here in between the sheets and the reminder, you can add filters. So for example, I have one filter here, but if I want to add another one, I can just click on the dots here and I can add a filter. So the reason I set up for a filter is because this automation needs to run every, let's say, an hour or 15 minutes, depends on what plan or make you are. Pretty much is scheduled. So in order for it to not run every time, we need to set a filter. And the filter is the total bundles that we get is not equal to 0. So because of those filters here, if for whatever reason there is no match, here we're gonna get a number 0, like right now, because less than 24 hours have passed before I actually submitted the previous automation. So if we change it and let's say we fill it on 8, now we should get at least one bundle, and now we got one bundle. Just to make sure that it's the same one, I'm gonna change the name to test, and I'm gonna run it again. We got the one that we just changed. And if I return to the original, which is 9th, now we should not get anything. And the number of bundles is 0. So if the number of bundles is 0, this will run every 50 minutes or every hour, whatever we set it to, but it's not gonna continue to the second part or to the third part. Let's say, for example, I just want to run the whole automation right now. It's gonna run only the first one and then it's gonna stop because the filter did not pass. And I'm gonna do it again. As for example, I did sign up yesterday. I'm gonna run it again. And it's, as you can see, it started running to the final part, and now this one should be updated. Let's check, yeah. This one was no, and now it's yes with the value of right now. Okay, that's the second part. Okay, so this is the final part. I'm gonna do it again just to show you how it works. We're gonna start with tally, watch for a new response. Then we're gonna choose the webhook. Then we're going to add the Google Sheets. Just pretty much search for a row. And actually, to get some data into Tally, we need to run it. Let me submit the document. Okay, so I submitted the form. And now, as you can see, I got some fields here. That's the information that we asked for. We just save it. And now we're gonna search for a row. We're gonna limit it to one result. And we're gonna set up the right sheet. Add the filter. Email is the email that we got from here. Okay. Let me just run it once, and I'm gonna use the email that I manufactured. Okay, so far so good. Then we are going to use Google Sheets again, but this time we're gonna update a row. We're gonna choose the right sheet again. The row number we're gonna get from here. And we're gonna just change submitted to yes. So this pretty much tells us that the client has submitted the tile form. Okay, let's test this module again as well. Roll number was 2. And yes, now it's submitted. Now we need to create a Google Drive folder. I'm gonna map it to clients and then create a new folder. We're gonna use the company name for that. And then we are going to create a new docs document, but from a template. And now we're going to choose the right document ID, which was somewhere around here. Template. So that's the right document. We're gonna title it company name overview. So those here are variables. I'm just gonna share the document with you. So we're gonna use those variables here. And when the document is actually created, this template is going to be used, and those variables here are gonna be changed to the actual variables. So for example, the company name is this one here, create on is here, and let's say we're gonna use now. For the name, we're going to use the one from Google Sheet. We're also going to use everything from Google Sheet pretty much. I'm not going to add email right now. Actually, I made a small mistake. Company name should be only company name, and the title of the document should be company name overview. And then we need to choose the new document location. For that, we need to map it. And we're going to use we want it in the folder that we just made. So we're just going to copy the folder ID. Okay, so let's just test this one first. Let's just test on this server first. So for the company, I'm going to use Alpha Stream 1. And as you can see, when it's created, we get a folder ID. So we just need to copy this one for the purpose of testing, because now it's going to ask me to put the folder ID. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, the document is created. So let's just check it out to see if everything's right. And as you can see, the variables that we inputted here are now done here, except the phone number, because we didn't add the phone number. But if you want to add it, you can just use the Google Sheet one. And this part's a bit tricky because you actually need to create a bot in Slack. So to start off, we need to go to Slack, create a channel. We also need to add your Slack. If you don't have a Slack, you can just skip this module. And for the name, we're gonna use the company name, which is somewhere around here. We won't set it to private. And let's test it. So now in order to add the user to a Slack channel, we first need to create it. We're gonna add the create Slack channel module. And then the name, right now we have the name as that, for example. And we cannot have capital letters or spaces, so we need to change it to this one. And in order to do that, we're gonna use lower to lower the uppercase, and then replace to replace the space with a dash or whatever you want. I'm gonna write like normal. Let's say Alpha Stream 2. And then the channel that's actually created is Alpha Stream. It's Alpha-Stream-2. They want to invite a user, but before we actually invite a user, we need to create a Slack app. So we're gonna go to api.slack.com. Just make an account if you don't have one. Then you're gonna go to your apps, create a new one, call it however you want, add it to the workspace, and create an app. Then we just need to go to, where was it? Authentication and permissions. We can leave all that empty. We just need to add scope, conversations, connect, read, and write. After that, you can just go to authentication token and install to Alpha Stream. Now we just copy this one because you're going to need it later. And that is the newest app that I just named, perfect naming. And we're going to add it to the right channel. We actually need to map it. So let's map it. We're going to go to channel ID and use it here. And because we're just going to test this part, we're going to copy the channel ID from here and run it. Paste the channel ID here. And now if we go to Slack, and now I see this is my Slack test account. So as you can see, I've joined, and also the bot that I just made also joined. Then we go to the final part, and for that we're gonna need an HTTP request. Make a request, we're gonna make it post, and for the URL we're gonna use this one, pretty much Slack API conversations.invite shared. But I'm gonna include all the workflow that I just made underneath, so you can access them there. We're gonna add a header, which is authorization bearer space, and then we're gonna paste the API key that we got from here. Then we're gonna add a body type, which is raw JSON application, and then we're gonna use this code. We're gonna change the channel ID to the one that we got from here, from create channel, and then we're gonna change the email to the email we got from here. Okay, so let's test it, and finally we should be able to send an invite. Okay, let's go to Gmail and just check if the invite is actually sent. So as you can see, we managed to send an invite, and you can just click here and log into Slack. So that's pretty much it. If you like it, like, subscribe, do whatever you want. And if you want to work with me, I'm gonna put a link underneath so we can schedule a call and see how I can help you.